There's a moment every man faces quiet, unexpected, and unsettling. It's not dramatic, it's not explosive, it just happens. One day she's calling, texting, laughing at your jokes, showing up like she's invested. And the next, silence. No explanation, just a cold distance where warmth used to be. You find yourself staring at your phone, swiping down to refresh your messages, hoping for a name to pop up. You replay conversations, wondering if you said something wrong. You scroll through old photos, trying to see where the shift started. That's the beginning of the loop, and it's brutal. But here's what you need to know. That silence you're experiencing, it's not nothing. It's not just life getting in the way. It's a message. She may not be saying anything, but she's communicating something loud and clear. You're just not trained to hear it. See, we've been fed this idea that busy is a valid excuse. That people disappear because they're overwhelmed or dealing with things. And sure, sometimes that's true. But when someone genuinely cares about you, even in chaos, they find a moment to let you know they still see you. They don't go completely dark. They don't make you guess. Because when something matters to us, we make time. Always. Think about the people who matter most to you. You find seconds in your day to check in, to send a quick message, to show them they're not forgotten. And if you can do that with everything going on in your own life, so can she if she wants to. So when she stops responding, when the calls dry up, when you go from constant communication to nothing but silence, don't let your mind convince you it's your fault. Don't buy the maybe she's busy excuse. Don't let your hope make you blind to the truth, because the truth is this. People show you their priorities through their consistency, not their excuses. If she's no longer reaching out, it's not about how busy she is. It's about where you now rank in her emotional hierarchy. That's a hard pill to swallow. But it's better than living off illusions. It's better than convincing yourself there's still something there when all signs point to detachment. And you need to hear this from someone who's been there. It's not weakness to care. But it is weakness to ignore the truth when it's staring you in the face. Her silence isn't something to decode. It's not a puzzle to solve. It's a boundary. Being set, even if unspoken, it's the start of her emotional exit. You can either wait around hoping it changes or face it head on and protect your peace. Because a woman who wants you in her life doesn't leave room for confusion. She shows up. She responds. She reciprocates. Everything else is noise and silence. That's the loudest message of all. When someone genuinely cares about you, you don't feel confused. That's the bottom line. Real care doesn't hide behind mixed signals or silence. It doesn't leave you wondering where you stand or why the vibe suddenly shifted. It shows up in consistency, in effort, in the way they speak to you even when life is messy. If you're stuck decoding texts, analyzing, timing, or questioning if you're still wanted, then you're not being valued. You're being strung along. And that uncertainty you're feeling, that's not love. That's anxiety. It's your instincts picking up on the disconnect between her words and her actions. Because when someone actually wants you in their life, they remove doubt. They make their presence known. You don't have to chase or guess. You don't sit there trying to make sense of silence or a sudden cold shoulder. That's not romantic mystery, it's emotional instability. And no matter how subtle it seems, mixed signals are manipulative. Even if it's not on purpose, it pulls you into a cycle where you invest more and receive less. Where you work harder for clarity she should have given from the start. A woman who truly cares won't keep you in emotional limbo. She won't have you questioning your worth just because she can't make up her mind. Her effort will match her words. Her energy will make you feel seen, not sidelined. That's what care looks like. It feels solid, grounded, steady. So if you find yourself always unsure, always hoping for reassurance, always wondering what changed, step back. Don't confuse emotional tension with emotional connection. One leaves you guessing, the other makes you feel safe. The woman who's meant for you won't need reminders of how to treat you. She'll just treat you right. And you'll never have to wonder. Most men make the mistake of turning her emotional distance into self-blame. The moment she pulls away, you start thinking it's something you did. Maybe you were too available. Maybe you texted too quickly. Maybe you showed too much emotion. That loop is toxic and it's false. Her detachment isn't a mirror of your worth. It's a reflection of her own emotional state. You're not the problem. The connection is. Too often we confuse emotional inconsistency with a challenge we're supposed to fix. We think if we adjust, pull back, or act more mysterious, she suddenly returned with clarity and warmth. But relationships aren't games. You shouldn't have to manipulate your own nature just to hold someone's attention. Think of it like a dance. You're moving with rhythm, with care, with presence, but she's either standing still, moving off beat, or leaving the floor entirely. That doesn't make you a bad dancer. It just means you're dancing with someone who doesn't want the same song. If a connection demands that you shrink, silence your needs, or constantly chase validation, then it's not love, it's emotional compromise. And compromise is only healthy when it's mutual. When it becomes self-abandonment, it turns toxic. So stop tying your identity to her engagement. Her inability to show up fully says nothing about your value. It simply means you're trying to build with someone who's not ready or not right, and that's okay. Not everyone will match your effort, but don't let that change how you see yourself. Don't let her inconsistency rewrite your confidence. You're not too much. You're just too real for someone who doesn't know how to handle it. That's her burden, not yours. One of the biggest traps men fall into is mistaking silence for something temporary. You tell yourself she just needs time, that she's going through something, that maybe tomorrow she'll reach out. You wait and wait and wait. But here's the truth. Silence isn't a pause. It's a message. It's not a sign to hold on. It's a sign to let go. The longer you sit in that space, hoping she circles back, the more stuck you become. You start living in that uncomfortable in-between where nothing's clear, but everything hurts. That's not loyalty. That's self-betrayal, because silence isn't neutral. It's a decision disguised as indecision. When someone stops checking in, stops showing up, stops responding, they're already pulling away. They just didn't have the courage or the respect to tell you directly. And while you sit there waiting for clarity, life moves on without you. She moves on without you. You deserve more than that. You deserve someone who chooses you without hesitation. Not someone who disappears and expects you to sit in place until they make up their mind. Closure doesn't always come with a conversation. Sometimes it's delivered through silence. And the more you accept that, the faster you heal. Stop thinking her silence means something's still possible. Start seeing it for what it is, proof that she made her choice. Don't reopen a door that closed on you. Don't wait for someone to remember your worth. Remember it yourself. And then walk away. Not bitter, not angry, just clear. Because the moment you stop waiting is the moment you start winning. Peace isn't found in her return. It's found in your release. Every time you chase someone who keeps pulling away, you're doing more than just wasting time, you're draining your own value. It doesn't feel that way at first. You think if you just say the right thing, show more patience, or prove how much you care, maybe she'll see your worth. But what you're really doing is teaching yourself that love has to be earned, that you have to beg for it, that your presence alone isn't enough. And that mindset is dangerous, because the more you pour into someone who doesn't reciprocate, the more disconnected you become from yourself. You start settling for crumbs. You start calling inconsistency mystery. You start confusing struggle with passion. And slowly, you lose your edge. The version of you that was grounded, calm, and clear gets buried under anxiety and self-doubt. But here's what you need to remember. Love isn't an audition. You don't have to perform for someone to recognize your value. The right woman won't need convincing. She'll see you clearly. She'll show up fully. She'll meet your energy with her own, not make you chase it. Your time, your peace, your energy, they're all precious. Protect them. Because once you waste them on someone who doesn't care, getting them back takes time, healing, and a hell of a lot of rebuilding. So stop trying to be enough for someone who's never ready. That's not your job. Your job is to be you fully, and to protect that man from anything that tries to drain him. When you stop chasing attention and start choosing self-respect, everything changes. You stop settling. You stop explaining. You start attracting. Not because you tried harder, but because you finally realized you didn't have to. You were enough all along. You just forgot.